What's good, YouTube fam? It's your boy Tony, aka the Center of Chaos and Controversy. And before I get into this video, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you happen to come across this video and you liked it or you didn't like it, hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down. And above all, please entertain me with the comments by leaving a comment in the comment section so I can have an idea where you stand, how you view my video, and, present me with some feedback, okay? So, this video will pretty much kill two birds with one stone and answering questions that I've been pretty much been hit with damn Tony, you seem like you're anti-police. There must have been something in your experiences that make you want to go in on, law enforcement and cover the stories of like police brutality, the injustices, this, that, so on and so forth. And yes, I've had my personal experience in Willimantic, Connecticut. Um, it was one morning, I remember this as if it was yesterday. I had to go to work. I believe it was Saturday because Friday I had just got paid. And I was returning the movie to Blockbuster. Now, to give you a little history about me and the Willimantic Police Department, my daughter's mother and I had a not so good relationship. She cheated on me, but in the midst of all that, my daughter came about the situation, so we tried to make it work for the sake of our daughter, okay? But being that the trust wasn't there, she was very gossipy, toxic, one of those Italian women that love to throw out the N-words, talk bad about other people and stuff, just whatever. So a lot of times I would spend less time at home, which kind of affected my relationship with my daughter because I didn't want to be around, her mother. And I would either go for a drive or go for a walk, one or two. And in the midst of doing that to cool down, to avoid any domestic disputes, I would always get the interaction from Willimantic Police. What are you doing? This, that, and everything else. And it's like, you're already trying to mind your business. You're already trying to calm down. You're already trying to, like, get all the negative shit out of your system by dealing with the relationship that, you're there for the wrong reasons. And then here you go having to entertain law enforcement, right? Just nitpicking, bullshitting, fishing, trying to find something to antagonize and just whatever for no reason, okay? So that's what I was dealing with. And, I told him, I said, I just want to be left alone. Just leave me the fuck alone. I'm dealing with some shit at home, whatever, da-da-da-da. And it's just like, sure you ain't out here doing this, da-da-da-da. It's like, damn it, I work for a living. I work two fucking jobs. At the time, I worked at Stop and Shop. I was assistant manager in the deli department, but I could float to other departments. And being that I was union-based, I was making good money. I was making close to $20 an hour. This was like damn near 20-something years ago, okay? Because my daughter is about to be 21, okay? So, with that, I had to deal with that, okay? And for anybody to know the frustration that comes, you get tired of the harassment. So one morning, I remember I was getting ready to go to work, and there's a lot across from the apartment building that we stayed in, where it was like a laundromat, whatever, the little gravel driveway, and then a couple of streets over was Blockbuster. At the time that Blockbuster existed, and I was going to return movies before I went to work. So as I was pulling off, my tires didn't gain the traction because it had rained the other day and it was muddy and shit. So I peeled off unintentionally. So that got the attention of an officer to try to justify pulling me over. Now he's, whatever. I'm looking at him, in the rear view, and I'm signaling, doing everything right, because I'm just like, I just don't want to be messing with today. I get to where I pull in the Blockbuster to get out. He pulls behind me, then flashes his lights. Okay. So as I'm coming back in the car, he asked me, "Was there a reason why you had to pull off like that?" I was like, "It wasn't intentional." I said, "The the um the parking lot is gravel. It's not asphalt. It's not cement. So you're going to spin your tires unintentionally, depending on whatever license, registration, this, that, and everything else." And I said, "Okay, here we go." So I said, "You know what?" I said, "I'm looking at this as a form of harassment. Every time I turn around, I'm always encountering you guys. I'm gonna file a report. I'm gonna file a complaint." Because I said that, I got maced. So mind you, now my vision is impaired. Okay, he calls for backup, and then he like lets me walk. So I could have walked out into the street because it's the main street in Willimantic, and Willimantic is just a small town, whatever. And I could have got hit by a car. He didn't try to prevent me from leaving. He just let me walk. Next thing I know, I encounter other officers. I'm getting thrown around, yelled at, given all these whatever orders. I get thrown to the ground and stuff. I get my head knocked into the asphalt, and I had a big old gash. The blood vessel in my eye popped. My lip was bleeding. I had bruises on my arm. So, of course, that gave them probable cause, so to speak, because of me wanting to file a complaint because I got tired of being harassed, to go and search my car. So they claim that they found something in my car, which I knew was a bunch of bullshit because prior to this incident, I had no record, none whatsoever. Clean cut as they come, didn't entertain anything. Okay. So they tried to say that I had. They presented some. They didn't even show me. They said that they found a bag or something. Now, mind you, because of the harassment, we didn't have cell phones that can record and stuff like this. And this is why I say technology has changed the game tremendously. I had, however, a video recorder in my car. Ironically, they took the tape out of the recorder and didn't return it. Now, I want you to understand and pay attention to the details as I continue with the story. So, I have receipts. I have pay stubs in my car in my glove compartment, and I had, I think maybe $700 or $800 on me because I had just cashed my check. Mind you, I get paid $20 an hour. Mind you, I work anywhere from 50 to 60 to 70 hours plus on average. Then I had another part-time job bouncing at a club. Okay, so I got questioned on why did I have this much money on me, this, that, and everything else. At the time, I had banked with Wells Fargo, and it was either me wanting to pay rent, pay half the rent, and it was something that I had to fix on my car, but that got delayed because I had to use some of that money to post my bail. Okay, and I got charged with assaulting an officer, of course, because that's why when I hear some of these stories that come out, it has a familiar tone to it. The narrative is all too familiar, so that's why I'm sitting there like, damn, the shit that I have experienced and went through, other people have gone and but the only difference is their outcome, the ending to their story was more tragic than mine because they are no longer here. And fortunate enough for me, I'm able to give my testimony on this experience. So they claimed that I had a bag that had traces of heroin in it. Okay. So I was like, okay. I said, "Where's the bag?" They didn't want to show me. So I said, "Okay, now I know you. Now I know you're full of it." I had to go to the hospital. They took pictures. They filled out a report, whatever. And then of course, they filled out their incident report and stuff like that, which always tell a different tale from what actually happens. We all know this. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted to attack this because now I'm like facing serious charges, felony charges. So I'm like, okay. So I figured, okay, here's a situation where there was police brutality. The first thought that came into my mind, this would be a case for the NAACP to look over. So I get in contact with the NAACP in the Connecticut district. They tell me they couldn't do anything for me. Okay. So I'm like, that's interesting. They said, get a lawyer, and depending on how the case turns out, then come back and contact us. Why am I going to come back and contact you after dealing with what I had to deal with is all said and done as far as what the outcome may, turn out, whether it's in my favor or not in my favor, depending on, how well my lawyer does in defending my case. So I lucked out and got a good lawyer. I didn't have to do any jail time. My record was expunged. The only stipulation was I had to do a year of probation. And in that time of my year of probation, I hadn't gotten in any trouble because I had no prior record. Okay? So that was like very suspicious to my lawyer. He wanted to know where the tape was. They didn't want to give him the tape. He asked for the so-called evidence of the baggie that they claimed that they had found. They didn't want to present that. So he was just like, yeah, they try to make an example out of you. From that point, they couldn't mess with me. There was a lawsuit that was filed. It wasn't a big amount. It was maybe somewhere in the proximity of close to $70,000. That was it in damages, paying for my doctor's bill and the lawyer fees and all of that. And that was it. So I walked away with maybe like close to like $38,000 or so when it was all said and done. But that's neither here and there. Now, with all that being said and done, it kind of gives you some insight on how I perceive law enforcement to a certain extent. Okay? Sometimes when looking at certain situations, I have to take a step back and take my bias out of the equation and try to find stories that are not aligning with my personal perception of law enforcement. Okay? I try to be fair. When it comes to organizations, like looking at the Black Lives Matter organization, not the movement, the organization. That's why I wasn't in support of it. Okay? Because of my experience with the NAACP, how are you, an organization set up to try to help black people, so you say, when it comes to certain injustices, for the claims that you say that that's the purpose of you existing, and when you have people come to you for help, you're not there. You don't do shit. So that's where I stand when it comes to looking at these injustices, when it comes to police brutality, the injustices within the justice system, and these organizations that exploit the trauma, the grievances of those within the black community for their own public persona, but for nothing else. They're useless. And I know some might say, well, that doesn't cover, every area and every demographics that these, organizations are set up. Well, I'm talking based on my personal experience and what I dealt with and how pretty much I got the shit end of the stick. So with that being said, there you have it. I decided to share this story because another content creator brought up the organization of the NAACP, and I was like, ah, damn it, if this isn't a coincidence, let me share my testimony on my interactions with the NAACP and how they failed to help me and chose not to until it deemed beneficial for them to step in. Nah. So anyway, that's what I got for today. That's my video for tonight. And you already know. Until next time, until next video, peace.